Talk about being trolled. Talk about an author trolling an entire fandom after My Hero Academia chapter 336. Horikoshi Sensei, why? Why must you do this to us? The fandom was in an uproar. Everybody was going absolutely nuts last week with the big reveal that Invisible Girl Hagakure is the traitor of UA. A lot of people were having so many different think pieces and just in general very strong opinions about how absolute garbage it was. I myself was like, yeah, it's pretty disappointing. I didn't say garbage because at the end of the day, it was just, you know, it's Invisible Girl. It is what it is. She's been with 1A for a long time. She just needed way more development, and it was just kind of like, yo, we got way bigger things going on right now. Who really cares about the traitor, especially if it's Invisible Girl? So that was my stance on it, but people were really, really harsh on what was going on in My Hero Academia. Horikoshi was like, because we found out in the latest chapter of My Hero Academia who the real traitor is, his motives, and it's kind of been hinted all along, and Horikoshi just really threw the fandom for a loop, and I'm very, very happy for what he did and how he did it, because kind of made the fandom look like sometimes we rush to judge. Sometimes, and I've been guilty of it myself, we come out the woo-wor and we're like, this shit is horrible, what are you doing, oh my god, and then the following week we're like, yeah, so hi. I don't know what it is, but the last few months I just been really loving My Hero Academia, for better or worse. Some of these chapters just really be going crazy, and we finally got something that's been for a long time now, and if you think about it, damn near from the beginning of shit, has been hinted at and has been set forth of a plot thread of the traitor of UA, of Class 1A. Let's talk about it, people. Let's talk about that My Hero Academia. Should we use greatness or insanity, considering the fact that everyone went nuts after this one? We'll go with the great insanity of My Hero Academia. Let's do it.
No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
Yes, people, as I started off this video with, like I said, traitor revealed. Traitor revealed for My Hero Academia, and I like it. I like it a lot. I ain't gonna lie. Like, it's not the biggest curveball in the world, considering the fact that that's what everybody assumed for the longest time, and when we saw him, Aoyama, damn, I didn't even say who the traitor was this entire time. Aoyama, when we saw him walking in Deku's, like, balcony and whatnot, there was already a lot of suspicions, but kind of Horikoshi let it die down, and again, I still feel like he's been waiting for the perfect opportunity to spring this on us, and maybe he felt this was a perfect opportunity. I still, in hindsight, want to say that it could have been utilized maybe a bit earlier, because right now it still feels like the villains have a stronghold over the whole situation. For crying out loud, we're basically sitting ducks waiting for All For One or Shigaraki to make their move and strike. So essentially, I still don't even feel like we really need, in terms of from the villain side of things, a mole to come and do anything, because we have the upper hand by a large margin. But at the same time, that's also showcasing just that All For One is relentless. He is using every possible tool to crush the heroes, and has been since damn near the beginning of this show. But the chapter opens up with what was promised last week in terms of Bakugo and Deku training, and just showcasing a little bit more of the advancement of how much stronger they got and some new techniques and all that jazz, because again, when we go into war, a lot of the times it's either boom, let me show you something that y'all ain't hear of, or boom, let me show you something that I was working on, y'all seen it, and at the end of the day, it's My Hero Academia, however the hell you want to pronounce it. Ultimately, the academia portion is the learning. So let's look at them studying the moves, figuring out their moves, and then in the war we'll see them executing it on the exam portion, so to speak. Dun, 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 dun. Formula of My Hero Academia exposed. But Bakugo says that he has advanced on his concentration and can get it right consistently thanks to sweat spheres. He can fire multiple shots, and honestly it just looks like an excuse for Horikoshi to have Bakugo baiting the girls that love the sweaty boy in anime. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I never really thought about that, but until things with World Heroes Mission, when I started hearing that, oh, it was a female audience by like 70%, and then everything started to click, like, yo, all along, Horikoshi really been baiting that female audience, fam, even down to integrating it with the technique, so the boys will be like, yeah, man, you know, Bakugo's explosions, and the girls are like, oh my god, he's sweating, like, genius, absolute genius, Horikoshi. And I'm not saying that this was thrown in, because the sweat thing has been a part of Bakugo. I'm saying that Horikoshi has been a genius sense for a very long time with the structure of all of this. And him wearing his winter suit kind of made me think like, I wonder if that was again just a little nod to the whole audience from that World Heroes mission. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of elements from anything that you enjoyed about World Heroes mission. You're going to start seeing it being integrated. I almost guarantee. I'm guessing Horikoshi's probably going to line it up with maybe the release of the Blu-ray or something like that. That's when we're going to get Rhodey from the World Heroes mission being included into the manga. That's just my opinion. I think we're going to see Rhodey at that particular point because, I mean, for crying out loud, he came in top 10 in the My Hero Academia popularity poll. In case you didn't know, it's out now. Big three, of course, Bakugo, Deku, and Todoroki, number 1, 2, and 3. But Rhodey was number 9. And Endeavor was cheated out of top 10. Got to throw that in there as well. But yeah, expect more World Heroes missions, references, and all sorts of stuff. Because Bakugo's wearing his winter gear in order to sweat more, because the more he sweats, the better it is, and the easier it is to use his capabilities. But then there's also a downside, which right there, I'm calling it. This is where you got to get Shorty that, I forget her name to be honest with you, but Shorty that creates the gear and whatnot, get her to make something like a blanket warmer, a blanket heater, you know, the blankets that get warm and whatnot. She needs to create a specialized gear for Bakugo, so that way it can make him sweat without tiring him out, because that's another thing that he says, like, damn, but I get really tired. That's the drawback to it. So it's got to be to a exact temperature that gets him enough to get sweaty, but not too much to absolutely exhaust him from heat exhaustion. There we go. That's the answer to Bakugo's crisis and how he's going to get one step further to being an explosion god. And we also see the return for a small brief bit in this chapter of Afro Deku. Based on his battle with Bakugo, Bakugo exploded the Afro into him, gave him that strength, baby. Let's go. Afro Luffy, Afro Deku. We need a 1v1 on that. Yo, Death Battle, get in here. Nah, I'm just playing. We don't want them problems. Then on the other side of things, we see Todoroki's advancement as well. One of the things that he's been trying to, first it was coming to grips with it to begin with, and then overall, finally, after he accepted his other half of himself, really just trying to harness it and master it, because essentially he's gotten enough of a grip and control of the left side of himself and pretty much caught up with the right, and so that he don't get burned up by Dabi's flames, essentially he needs to make it that he is perfectly even, if you think about it like that. Like, it's no difference to him. There is no left or right, it's just forward. Oh god, that sounded political, but you get what I mean. But it's also dope to see that there's been advancement on Todoroki's side as well. The fact that he is getting together with his other half and really developing that side of him as well. And then I ain't gonna lie, to a certain degree, Denki was speaking facts, but between the fact that All For One has put the fear of God inside of all the hearts of everybody in UA, but also he's still 10 steps ahead of everybody. It was like, Denki was spinning some facts, but there's also facts to, dispute back at what he's saying. Because he's kind of basically trying to argue that, yo, aren't we in a better position considering the fact that two of the strongest, their best that they have is weakened right now, and Gigantomachia has been sedated and is basically concealed right now. Like, we're kind of in a good spot, right? Like, we could do some things. And here comes Bakugo again. He's all over this chapter with his angry ass. Like, first of all, fam, you don't know nothing about that ball sack looking motherfucker. Like, stop. Because he basically says, which is low-key true, that trying to find All For One is damn near next to impossible, because every time he evades, whether it be when he broke out of prison, whatever the case may be, even all these years, think about it, after the battle against All Might, he went into hiding and they were never able to find him. He is a master at finding hideouts. I hope that there's more elaborated on that. Is it just that he's massively genius, or maybe it's a capability, or just in general something that he knows? Like, I would love to understand why is it that he is so freaking good. Imagine they give us something corny like, oh, he was great at hide and seek when he was younger. Please don't, Horikoshi. Give us something that he's just a massive genius and uses a big quirk that he has or something to really stay out the way. But then also Momo chimes in that we essentially got a 50-50 chance at this point, considering the fact that when we fought Shigaraki, he was still at a weakened state, and also we've lost a lot of people, because a lot of people, between people dying and then also people hanging up the cape because they were too scared of everything that came after that. They didn't want to be heroes no more. Yeah, we're running low on people that have our back. And Bakugo chimes in once again that lastly, even let's just say if the search quirk that Shigaraki had has been destroyed by Star and Stripe, they're still definitely going to strike first. We're playing by their rules right now. They're the ones on the offense, and essentially we're sitting ducks in defense because we don't know where they're at. They know exactly where we're at the end of the day. They know the location of UA. It's just that we're fortified. That's the only thing that's stopping them from coming and completely shrekking us to hell. Now that I think about it, that would actually be convenient if it was that the search quirk got destroyed by Star and Stripe. I actually hope that works, even though it'd be like, oh, out of all the quirks in his arsenal, that one was, but it would be logical of, okay, like, the hiding spot of Deku, if he leaves UA, is going to be a little bit more undetectable because, that search thing was really broken. In fact, majority of the powers that the villains have and, just their position in general is pretty broken. However, Deku once again again gets on his little solo vigilante stuff, and he's like, yo, don't even worry about it. I'm gonna force the hand in a little bit. I'm gonna be up out of here. They're gonna, you know what I'm saying, they're gonna try and come through. We're gonna see what's popping. And Ida was like, didn't we already teach you about friendship? We taught your little ass some lessons about friends. You will not leave us. We are friends, Deku, friends. And Deku was like, God damn, I can't get rid of these motherfuckers. Alright, it'll be us. We'll leave together. We'll give him more targets. Yeah. Oh. Gotta love shonen manga sometimes. Like, I love the thought of Deku being on some solo stuff, but it goes against what we've been set up with My Hero Academia, you know, Class 1A together forever. Hey, so... yeah. And then we cut to a forest where we were all completely trolled. The forest of trolls. Horikoshi's troll forest is in full effect because we see Hagakure in a forest, and immediately you're thinking like, okay, so now we're going to understand why she did it, who she's talking to, yada yada. And it was all a massive, bigger reveal to something entirely different. And I gotta go, applause to Horikoshi-san, Horikoshi-sensei. He pulled the wool over our eyes. A lot of people looking like bozos out here. Again, I mean, I was just like indifferent to it because at the end of the day, there's just so much, like I keep on saying, more grander things than this traitor. And at the end of the day, we're screwed anyway, whatever. But she was not the traitor. The Invisible Girl was not at all. And in fact, he was leading us into that. She was listening in on the true traitor of 1A UA. Because she's thinking to herself, ever since that big battle in the mountain and all that jazz, he stopped smiling. He lost his smile. So immediately, like, if you're reading this, you don't even need to go any further. You're probably thinking, she's obviously not talking about All for One, because the motherfucker never stopped smiling. Probably talking about the one dude that doesn't stop smiling, Aoyama. Yeah. And at first, I ain't gonna lie, when I was reading this, I was like, wait a minute, so are they both traitors? I had to double back and oh no, she just caught on to who was the traitor and what was going on all along, because there's 3 people that are shadowed out in the beginning in a forest, and they're speaking about how they got another order from him, and essentially this is all talks of who the traitor is, and whoever it is, they're ordering the one person that, yo, just keep on surveilling, keep on listening. Right now we're in a good spot, they can't see us anyway, just keep doing what you've been doing. And it just keeps on, you know, reaffirming that ever since now, even when Deku returned, he completely stopped smiling again, because obviously, like, every time Deku is around, there's going to be more orders, because one of the big things that All for One wants is one for all. And who has one for all? Deku. And you see these people saying, you did just as he asked in Camino, right? Like, if you don't do it, we will be killed. And it's Aoyama, seemingly his parents or relatives. Obviously, it's revealed that it's his mom and dad, and he's crying there, and the traitor is Aoyama, and the reason he is the traitor is not that he's evil all along, it's in fact that basically he's doing it to protect and save his parents, because if not, they will be murdered by All for One. Even though, if you think about it, they're kind of being selfish, because hey, you want to stop this whole situation? Grab your parents and walk into that building that's fortified. It's either do or die anyways in this whole entire world with them. Just walk in, right behind them, right there. There's a big building that solves your whole problems. Yeah, because, you know, if you don't want to be selfish, you might get some punishment for what you've done down the road, especially because right now we still got all other sorts of stuff to worry about. But the problem solved. You don't got to put your son through any of this anymore. Being a traitor or working with All for One, giving intel, none of it. All done. Building right there. Right there. You see the big one right there? Right there. At the very least, that's what my thought was. I don't know. And pretty much Aoyama's been doing this all along, since before he even started at the school. Essentially, he's been ordered time and time again from the training grounds camp. Every time it was like, how did All for One get the drop? It was Aoyama that was giving this intel. Now it's starting to add up and everything of how he was constantly a step ahead of the heroes and everything who was giving the intel, even though I always thought like, yo, Class 1A is a little bit too informed on things, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I get it in terms of him getting info on Deku, because hello, Aoyama's there, but sometimes I used to be like, there's things that keep them kids away, because whoever the traitor is, it could be amongst them. And at the very least, it makes it less scummy, at the very least on Aoyama's side. Like, Aoyama is a victim here, clear as day. His parents, they're selfish, because like I just said again, building right behind solves everything, but ultimately, they don't want to be doing this. It's just that they made a deal with the devil, so to speak. And I got to throw in right here with Hagakure. Like, a lot of people had a problem with Hagakure being the, you know, traitor last week or whatever. Obviously, she's not. But then as she's hearing this and she can't believe it, one of the things she's like, I gotta go. I gotta tell the teacher or something what's going on here. Yeah. You were right. go tell a teacher. Why is it the first fucking person that comes over is Deku? Like, but going back to it, the deal that they made essentially with All for One was that Aoyama was born without a quirk, and opposed to having him being essentially quirkless and made fun of and an outcast, yada yada, bullied and all that jazz. Like, there was a righteous reason on their part too. Like, they're scumbags in terms of trying to evade punishment because building behind them, but ultimately their reasoning behind doing this to begin with was they love their son. They didn't want their son to go through hardships and whatnot. So go make a deal with this dude that can give their son a quirk, and ultimately, boom, problem solved, and everybody walks away happy. However, again, when you make a deal with the devil, eventually you got to make your payment, and your payment is usually 10 times worse than whatever it was that you was granted. And I can only imagine like the hardships that Aoyama had to go through just thinking about it. Like, yo fam, he went through some stuff with this whole situation, constantly feeling guilt ridden and all that jazz, because all this time, every time he's smiling in somebody's face, behind in his back he's thinking, damn, I gotta go tell the big man about what they doing right here right now. I gotta get more intel. So yeah, Aoyama, I could see some sort of redemption where something bad is going to happen, whether it be that his parents get killed, he jumps in front of a blast and gets stabbed through, something there for him to get that redemption. And I also envision him doing it with a smile. His smile returned the moment that he could actually kind of help out and return the favor for all the messed up things he did of giving intel and giving the drop. How many times bad things happen? Think about it. Like, if Aoyama died, I don't know if Otokoshi would go that far, but if Aoyama died, that would actually work. That would actually work, because it's like, hey, he did all these horrible things. A lot of people were hurt, killed, all that jazz, because he didn't want to drag his parents in a building behind them. And just as he thought when, you know, All for One was captured in Kamino that, yo, I could finally be free, it just continued on and continued on, and his parents are begging him, please don't let us die, you scumbags. I get it, it started off with a righteous thing, but where we're at right now with it, like, it was righteous when it started off, it's very bad right now. Turn yourselves in, god damn it. And when Deku showed up and said, yo, Aoyama, what's good, fam? Yo, you playing with me right now? He says, hey, I heard about the traitor from UA potentially being you from Hagakure. And I'm just there thinking to myself, teacher, invisible girl, you said teacher. Does this look like a teacher? This little freckled, scared, well, no, he's not scared, but this little freckled boy, he's not a teacher. Maybe she went on to, like, that was maybe the first person she saw. I don't know. Maybe she saw Deku and was like, just hysterical, traitor, Aoyama Forest, and then ran and then told some other teachers or something. Like, maybe that's what it is, because other than that, it's like, you said teacher, not student. This is a big deal. This is the safety of everybody in that building right there. Yo, that building has been very important throughout this review, huh? But Deku says that he kind of knew something was up to begin with, because ever since the battle on the mountain, that Aoyama has been looking the most depressed, so he was coming to see what's good, and it was just kind of like a perfect timing, I guess, of Deku was going to check on him, and then boom, Hagakure dropped the bombshell on him. And yeah, at first Aoyama's there like going crazy, because at the end of the day, you got to think it's somewhat of a relief, I'd imagine, when he finally spills it to Deku and says, ever since the beginning, I've been giving all of this intel. I am the traitor, the scum bucket villain of this whole thing, fam. It was me, Dio. No. So I'd imagine Aoyama probably, he feels horrible, but also getting this off his chest and finally moving on from this point is probably going to be good for him. And again, I see redemption in his future. He's not a bad guy. He was forced in a terrible situation. His parents are making him do it. And even the parents at that point are like, no, you misheard, fam. We no speak English. Even though technically it would be Japanese, but you get what I mean. They were still trying to be bozos to the very end. But yeah, people, Horikoshi misled us last week. Ultimately, the traitor is Aoyama. He wasn't doing it by will. He was being forced because his parents made a deal with All for One, the devil himself. I ain't gonna lie, well played, and it worked so well because of it being a weekly release. Like, let's just say you were marathon reading this, it probably wouldn't hit as much, because you would see that last page and then jump to the very next chapter. Oh, if this was released, like, if that was the last chapter at the end of a volume, oh my god, imagine somebody that only reads the volumes. That would be a horrendous wait for the next volume of like, oh, it wasn't the trade all along, so I've just been for the last like 2 or 3 months thinking that, okay, there. But I'm extremely curious what you guys think about these new developments in My Hero Academia. The traitor, Aoyama, not Hagakure. Are you disappointed in it? Again, I feel like it just makes more sense. We know Aoyama. We've seen little inklings of him potentially being the traitor. It was build up to it, so it works well. I still really was intrigued and enjoyed the whole theory of it being the principal. I just got to throw that in there. I thought that was a dope twist, but still, Aoyama better than Hagakure. Your thoughts on it, however, where do you think this is going to go from here? Also, do you feel like the parents should have turned themselves in a lot sooner? Like, especially considering now we're fortified in there, all they had to do is walk in the building. Maybe it's that, I don't know, All for One has some type of timer bombs on them or something that if they disobey, he'll blow them up. Maybe that's what it is now I think about it. Still, you're torturing your son. And your overall thoughts and expectations as to where the heck this is all going to go moving forward. Hagakure should have told the teacher first, not Deku. Just gotta throw that in there. You're making more emotional turmoil, fam. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and yeah, Horikoshi, he got us good with this one. He did the damn thing. Have an awesome one.
So just go to